Every time you doubt yourself, every time you procrastinate, every time you tell yourself later, you are sabotaging your own life. And it's not because you're lazy. It's because your mind has been trained to default to distraction, hesitation, and fear. Today, you will learn the exact mindset shifts, daily rituals, and actionable systems that will stop that sabotage. By the end of this audiobook, you will take back control, train your focus, and start living deliberately. No excuses, no delays. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Face the truth about your sabotage. You're sabotaging yourself. You may not realize it. You may not even notice it. But the evidence is there. Missed opportunities, broken promises to yourself, repeated failures in the same areas. This is not luck. This is not circumstance. This is a pattern. You have a choice. You can continue it, or you can stop it. That is the first rule. Awareness precedes change. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. Look at your life objectively. Review the moments when progress stalled. Identify the areas where you repeated the same mistakes. Perhaps it is at work. Perhaps it is in relationships. Perhaps it is in your health. Whatever it is, recognize it. Name it. Own it. That is the first system of discipline. Catalog your sabotage patterns. Write them down. Document them. Every repeated error is a signal. Every repeated delay is a signal. Every repeated failure is a signal. Do not ignore them. You do not need their permission to face your truth. Consider a professional example. A capable individual. Talented. Knowledgeable. Hardworking. Yet, year after year, promotions pass by. Projects are delayed. Feedback is ignored. The work is good, but not strategic. The pattern repeats. Why? Because talent alone does not prevent self-sabotage. That is not a flaw. That is a habit, and habits can be changed. Notice the difference. Talent is not enough. Discipline is required. Systematic action is required. Attention to patterns is required. You have a choice. You can remain in the cycle, or you can break it. That is the rule. That is the key. The first step is recognition. You must distinguish between intentional action and unconscious sabotage. Intentional action produces results. Unconscious sabotage produces frustration. Every time you avoid responsibility, every time you delay, every time you seek comfort over progress, you are sabotaging yourself. That is the truth. Do not debate it. Accept it. Label it. That is the only way to stop it. Patterns are invisible because they are habitual. Habits operate below awareness. They are automatic. They are efficient, but they are not necessarily correct. The brain does not evaluate long-term consequences in real time. It seeks ease. It seeks avoidance. It prefers the known over the unknown. And that preference creates sabotage. That is not a flaw. It is a design of the mind. You have a choice. You can rewire it. You can reprogram it. You can train it to serve your purpose. That is the principle. That is the first system, conscious tracking of automatic behaviors. To track, you must observe without judgment. Record every instance of hesitation, avoidance, or procrastination. Note every emotional trigger. Note every rationalization. Note every excuse. These are not failures. These are data points. They are signals. They are the blueprint for correction. Discipline is born from data. Reflection is born from observation. Change is born from repeated correction. You have a choice. Observation is mandatory. Excuses are optional. Next, categorize your sabotage. There are patterns in every form of self-sabotage. Some are avoidance-based. Some are fear-based. Some are ego-based. Avoidance is the failure to act. Fear is the refusal to confront. Ego is the need for external validation at the expense of progress. Identify which applies. Identify how it manifests. Identify the triggers. That is the system pattern identification and classification. You do not need to guess. You do not need to rationalize. You need to observe. You need to record. You need to classify. That is discipline. That is freedom. Then, connect the pattern to its consequence. Every action or inaction has an outcome. Every delay produces loss. Every compromise produces weakness. Every excuse produces regret. Map it. Visualize it. Feel it without emotion. This is not guilt. This is clarity. Understanding the cost is a rule of mental training. Without it, patterns persist. With it, patterns break. That is the principle. That is the key. That is the drill. Let us return to the professional who missed promotions. The behavior was subtle, arriving late to meetings, failing to follow up, avoiding difficult conversations, accepting mediocrity. Each action alone was minor. Taken together, they formed a pattern of sabotage. The lesson is clear. Sabotage is often small. Sabotage is often quiet. Sabotage is often invisible, but it is cumulative. The principle: small repeated errors produce massive cumulative consequences. Discipline interrupts this accumulation. Attention interrupts this accumulation. Awareness interrupts this accumulation. You have a choice. Use it. Repetition is critical. You must repeat the observation process daily. Habits do not change overnight. Patterns do not break in a week. But with deliberate, repeated reflection, habits weaken. With deliberate, repeated action, new habits strengthen. This is a system. Track, classify, analyze, correct, repeat, repeat, repeat. That is how change occurs. That is how self-sabotage ends. That is how control returns. You do not need their permission to do this. You do not need external approval. You have the authority over your mind. You have the authority over your life. That is discipline. That is power. That is choice. Now, examine your excuses. They are predictable. You tell yourself, I am too busy. I am too tired. It's not the right time. These are not reasons. They are habits. Habits of avoidance. Habits of hesitation. Habits of self-sabotage. Identify them. Call them out. Write them down. Confront them. Each time an excuse arises, you are given an opportunity. You have a choice. Reject it. Replace it. Correct it. That is the rule. That is the system. That is the principle. Finally, take action. Awareness alone is insufficient. Recognition is the first step. Correction is the second. Action is the third. Implement micro-behaviors immediately. If you notice a hesitation, act. If you notice avoidance, act. If you notice procrastination, act. No debate. No delay. No justification. That is the discipline. That is the drill. That is the foundation for every other chapter. You will repeat this process across all areas of life. You will strengthen your focus. You will train your mind. You will build a system of self-control that becomes automatic. You have a choice. Use it now. Reinforce the mantra. It's not a flaw. It's a habit, and habits can be changed. It's not a flaw. It's a habit, and habits can be changed. It's not a flaw. It's a habit, and habits can be changed. Repeat it until it becomes true in your mind. Because it is true. By facing the truth about your sabotage, you have taken the first action. You have observed the patterns. You have classified the triggers. You have mapped the consequences. You have repeated the principle. You have acted. That is the rule. That is the system. That is the foundation for what comes next. Next, you will learn how to stop proving and start doing. You will learn how external validation destroys progress. You will learn how to convert awareness into deliberate, repeatable action. That is the next system. That is the next discipline. You have a choice. Follow it. Do not falter. Do not debate. Apply it. Chapter 2. Stop proving and start doing. You are not here to impress anyone. Not your boss. not your colleagues, not your friends, not strangers online. Yet, every day, you act as if approval is your primary objective. That is self-sabotage. That is the habit that steals time, focus, and energy. You have a choice. You can continue performing for others, or you can start producing for yourself. That is the rule. That is the system. That is the foundation of disciplined action. Notice the behavior. Social comparison. The endless scroll. The subtle measuring of your life against others. You see someone posting success, someone showing recognition, someone highlighting accomplishments, and you pause. You judge. You doubt. You postpone. You justify. That is not reflection. That is distraction. That is sabotage. Results over approval. Action over validation. Every time, repeat it in your mind. Repeat it in your actions. Internalize it as truth. Consider a real-world example. A professional in marketing. Talented, creative, ambitious, yet trapped in social comparison. They spend hours reviewing competitors' work, reading comments, tracking likes, analyzing feedback. They spend less time producing. Deadlines slip. Creativity stalls. Recognition remains elusive. Why? Because the focus was on perception, not execution. That is the difference. Proof is not progress. Doing is progress. That is the system. That is the rule. You have a choice. You must act. The first step is to identify the approval-seeking behaviors. What are you doing to prove yourself rather than to produce? Track them. Write them down. Observe how much time is spent on image, opinion, or judgment. Separate these behaviors from productive work. This is the first principle, measurement of intent. Are you acting to accomplish a goal, or are you acting to be seen accomplishing it? You have a choice. Measure it. Adjust it. Correct it. That is discipline. That is control. Next, establish boundaries with external validation. Social media, messages, emails, notifications, they are designed to demand attention, to solicit approval, to create comparison. Do not engage blindly. Reduce exposure. Schedule interaction. Prioritize production. That is the system. Control your inputs to control your output. Every interruption that seeks approval is an opportunity to lose focus. You have a choice. Guard your attention. Protect your schedule. Results over approval. Action over validation. Every time, shift focus from perception to performance. Performance is measurable. Performance is concrete. Performance produces results. Approval is transient. Approval is external. Approval cannot replace execution. You do not need their permission to work. You do not need applause to continue. You do not need recognition to act. You have a choice. Act anyway. Act consistently. Act deliberately. That is discipline. That is power. That is control. Next, implement the habit of immediate execution. When a task arises, begin it immediately. Do not wait for acknowledgement. Do not wait for advice. Do not wait for recognition. Delay invites sabotage. Delay invites doubt. Delay invites comparison. Action is the antidote. Microactions compound into results. Small, consistent behaviors outperform sporadic bursts of validation seeking. That is the system. Act first, assess later. You have a choice. Act immediately. No excuses. No negotiation. Results over approval. Action over validation. Every time. Now, examine your metrics of success. Are they internal or external? Do you measure progress by completion, improvement, and output, or by praise, recognition, or feedback? Internal metrics drive action. External metrics drive distraction. Convert all success measures to internal criteria. Track outputs, not likes. Track deliverables, not opinions. Track learning, not judgment. That is the rule. That is the structure. That is the principle. You have a choice. Align measurement with production. That is discipline. That is focus. That is freedom. Repetition reinforces the habit. Each time you feel the urge to prove yourself, pause. Recognize it. Redirect it. Begin productive action instead. The habit of approval seeking will not disappear overnight. That is normal. Repeat the correction. Repeat the action. Repeat the observation. Every time the impulse arises, redirect to execution. That is how habits change. That is how self-sabotage ends. That is how control returns. You have a choice. Use it consistently. Results over approval. Action over validation. Every time, avoid rationalizations. You may tell yourself, I need feedback before I proceed. I should see how others respond first. I will wait until recognition is possible. These are not strategies. These are excuses. Every excuse is sabotage. Every delay is self-betrayal. Recognize it. Reject it. Replace it with immediate action. That is the drill. That is the discipline. That is the system. You have a choice. Act now. Results over approval. Action over validation. Every time, introduce the structure of accountability. Produce first. Measure internally. Track outputs. Set deadlines that matter to you, not to anyone else. Report to yourself first. Reward execution first. That is the framework. Internal accountability governs consistent production. Approval will follow only when results exist. Attempting to gain approval without results is empty. It is wasted energy. It is wasted attention. You have a choice. Follow the system. Apply the framework. Reaffirm it daily. Results over approval. Action over validation. Every time. Finally, convert these principles into daily rules. Begin each day by identifying the top 3 actions that produce results. Focus only on these. Ignore approval signals. Pause when seeking external validation. Recenter on execution. Redirect attention to measurable outcomes. End each day reviewing what was produced, not what was perceived. Track progress. Track execution. Track completion. This is the discipline. This is the habit. This is the system. You do not need their permission to work. You do not need applause to act. You do not need validation to produce. You have a choice. Apply it. Repeat it. Internalize it. Results over approval. Action over validation. Every time. Next, you will learn how to recognize the silent cost of avoidance. You will see how postponement, hesitation, and distraction accumulate into loss. You will learn how to quantify the hidden consequences of delay. You have a choice. Observe it. Measure it. Correct it. That is the next system. That is the next discipline. That is your path forward. Chapter 3. The silent cost of avoidance. You are avoiding, not occasionally, not in rare moments, repeatedly, consistently, habitually. Avoidance is subtle. It is quiet. It is invisible, and that is its danger. It does not announce itself. It does not demand attention. Yet every act of avoidance erodes your success, your confidence, and your opportunities. You have a choice. You can continue avoiding, or you can confront it. That is the first rule. Recognize the cost before it accumulates. Avoidance appears in many forms. Procrastination, hesitation, delay, excuses, rationalization. I'll do it tomorrow. I need more information. I'm not ready yet. Each is a small decision. Each seems harmless. Each compounds over time. That is the silent cost. Every delay is a cost. Every delay is a loss. Every delay hurts. Repeat it. Internalize it. Accept it. This is not theory. It is observable fact. Consider a real-world example. A professional in finance. Skilled. Reliable. Knowledgeable. Assigned critical projects. Deadlines were missed repeatedly. Opportunities for promotion were lost. Recognition evaporated. Responsibility shifted to others. Results stagnated. all because tasks were delayed. Small hesitations compounded into significant consequences. That is the principle. Inaction produces results only when measured in loss. Every delay is a cost. Every delay is a loss. Every delay hurts. The first system of correction is observation. Track every moment when you delay an action. Track every task postponed. Track every meeting avoided. Track every conversation deferred. Observation alone begins to expose the invisible cost. Awareness transforms habit. Awareness converts avoidance into actionable data. You have a choice. Observe first. Do not rationalize. Do not justify. Observe. That is the drill. That is the system. Next, quantify the cost. Assign consequences to each delayed action. Missed deadlines may result in lost opportunities. Hesitation may erode trust. Postponed decisions may weaken authority. Quantify them. Understand them. Visualize them. This is not about guilt. It is about clarity. Avoidance is costly because the consequences accumulate silently. Every delay is a cost. Every delay is a loss. Every delay hurts. Repeat it. Let sink in. Let guide action. Now examine the triggers. Avoidance rarely exists without reason. Fear, perfectionism, discomfort, overwhelm. Each triggers hesitation. Each provides an excuse. Each allows the mind to defer responsibility. Identify which triggers apply to you. Name them. Classify them. Map their appearance across daily activities. That is the system. Identify triggers, understand mechanics, intercept behavior. You have a choice. Do it deliberately. Do it consistently. Next, establish immediate counteractions. For every trigger, define one microbehavior to override avoidance. Fear of starting a report? Open the document. Discomfort in difficult conversations? Schedule the first 5 minutes. Overwhelm in project planning? Break it into the smallest possible tasks. Each microbehavior interrupts the avoidance cycle. Each microaction compounds into forward momentum. That is the rule. That is the system. That is discipline. Every delay is a cost. Every delay is a loss. Every delay hurts. Avoidance is deceptive. It convinces you that postponement is harmless. It whispers, you have time. You are not ready. You can do it later. These are lies. Every postponed task reduces credibility. Every deferred action weakens skill. Every delayed decision diminishes potential. The accumulation is silent, but measurable. The effect is real. The result is lost opportunity. That is the principle. Inaction is cumulative damage. You have a choice. Act anyway. Act deliberately. Act consistently. Every delay is a cost. Every delay is a loss. Every delay hurts. Next, implement a schedule system to neutralize avoidance. Fix blocks of time. Clear priorities. Concrete deadlines. Self-imposed accountability. Tasks are no longer optional. They are obligations. Execution becomes automatic. Avoidance is preempted. Delay is reduced. Performance increases. That is the structure. That is the framework. That is the system. You have a choice. Commit to it. Follow it. Enforce it. Repetition reinforces the correction. Each day, review where avoidance occurred. Track micro delays. Evaluate their cumulative impact. Record corrective actions. Observe improvement. Reinforce progress. Avoidance diminishes under consistent, repeated correction. Habits are replaced. Momentum builds. Confidence strengthens. You have a choice. Reinforce it. Repeat it. Internalize it. Every delay is a cost. Every delay is a loss. Every delay hurts. Now, examine the psychological impact. Avoidance erodes self-trust. Every postponed action sends a message. I cannot rely on myself. Confidence diminishes. Authority weakens. Motivation falters. Recognition slips. This is silent sabotage. You do not see it immediately. You feel it gradually. The mind rewards completion. The mind punishes delay. Train your mind. Reinforce action. Correct hesitation. That is the principle. That is the system. Every delay is a cost. Every delay is a loss. Every delay hurts. Introduce accountability mechanisms. External pressures are insufficient alone. Internal systems are mandatory. Track completion. Review outcomes. Set daily and weekly benchmarks. Self-report. Reflect. Adjust. Avoidance is reduced when discipline is externalized internally. This is not optional. This is mandatory. You have a choice. Use it. Every delay is a cost. Every delay is a loss. Every delay hurts. Finally, convert these insights into actionable rules. Record every delayed action for a week. Identify patterns. Identify triggers. Quantify costs. Assign micro-actions to immediately counter each trigger. Execute them without debate. Establish fixed daily blocks for high-priority tasks. Treat deadlines as immovable. Review outcomes daily. Reflect. Correct. Repeat. Reinforce momentum. This is the discipline. This is the framework. This is the system. Avoidance is not a flaw. Avoidance is a habit, and habits can be changed. You have a choice. Act deliberately. Act consistently. Act immediately. Observe silently. Quantify precisely. Correct relentlessly. Every delay is a cost. Every delay is a loss. Every delay hurts. Repeat it. Internalize it. Enforce it. Next, you will learn how to rewire your mind for daily discipline. You will learn the structure of habit formation, the system of incremental wins, and the processes that convert observation into permanent behavior. You have a choice. Apply it. Do not debate it. Do not delay. Correct it now. That is the next system. That is the next chapter. Chapter 4. Rewire your mind for daily discipline. Your mind is not fixed. Your habits are not permanent. Every pattern, every behavior, every reaction can be rewired. The brain is plastic. It adapts. It changes. It learns. That is the principle. That is the foundation of discipline. You have a choice. You can remain subject to your impulses, or you can train your mind deliberately. That is the system. That is the rule. That is how self-control is built. Habits are neurological loops. Cue, routine, reward. That is the sequence. Recognize it. Every behavior follows this pattern. Distraction is a habit. Procrastination is a habit. Avoidance is a habit. Self-sabotage is a habit. Each follows the same neural pathway. The good news, pathways can be altered. New loops can be created. Old loops can weaken. That is the key. That is the system. You have a choice. Intervene deliberately. Rewire consciously. Correct consistently. Self-control is also a skill. It is not innate. It is trained. It grows stronger through repeated, structured practice. Every act of restraint strengthens neural circuits. Every moment of intentional focus rewires the mind. Every decision to act instead of avoid reinforces control. That is the principle. Self-control is a muscle. Like a muscle, it grows with use. It weakens without practice. You have a choice. Use it. Strengthen it. Protect it. The first system is observation. Track your habitual behaviors daily. Identify cues that trigger unproductive patterns. Note your response. Note the reward. Document it. Awareness is the first step in rewiring. Without clarity, no change occurs. Habits operate below consciousness. Observation brings them to light. That is discipline. That is control. That is the first step toward daily intentionality. Next, implement micro-adjustments. Replace old routines with new, productive routines. Every time a cue arises, execute a deliberate action. The action must be small but measurable. The action must create forward momentum. The action must reinforce discipline. That is the system. Micro-behaviors build neural strength. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. Repeat it. Internalize it. Apply it. Now, construct a daily ritual. Rituals automate discipline. Rituals reduce decision fatigue. Rituals create momentum before motivation is required. Here is the checklist. Morning clarity. Begin the day by listing the 3 most important actions that will move your life forward. Focus only on these. Execution takes precedence over planning. Immediate action. Begin the first task without delay. Do not debate. Do not wait. Start. Completion builds reinforcement. Midday checkpoint. Review progress. Adjust micro-actions as needed. Record wins. Record delays. Every correction strengthens neural pathways. Reflection period. In the day, reviewing outputs, not outcomes or praise. What was completed? What was delayed? What was learned? Internalize progress. Internalize mistakes. Correct tomorrow. Preparation for tomorrow. Pre-plan one actionable step for the following day. Ensure momentum is continuous. Momentum compounds in a habit. Each component of this ritual strengthens self-control. Each repetition rewires habit loops. Each act compounds over time. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. You have a choice. Follow the ritual. Execute it consistently. Do not debate. Do not delay. Discipline is non-negotiable. Now, address the brain's resistance. The mind prefers comfort. The mind prefers routine. The mind seeks reward without effort. That is natural. That is expected. That is the reason most people fail to maintain discipline. You're not exempt from this. You have a choice. Override instinct. Apply structure. Reinforce repetition. Micro-actions break resistance. Habit loops are replaced. Neural pathways strengthen. That is the principle. That is the system. Next, reinforce with accountability. Internal systems are crucial. External systems are optional. Daily reflection, tracking, and journaling serve as the feedback loop. Each recorded action informs correction. Each delayed action informs intervention. Habits do not change in a vacuum. They require measurement. They require discipline. They require repetition. That is the system. Observe, correct, reinforce, repeat. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. The psychological effect is cumulative. With consistent execution, the brain begins to anticipate success. Motivation becomes secondary. Discipline becomes default. The mind aligns with action. Confidence strengthens. Self-efficacy increases. Control becomes internalized. That is the goal. That is the principle. You have a choice. Apply it consistently. Reinforce it daily. Repetition solidifies the neural patterns. Each day, you repeat the ritual, the pathways strengthen. Each act of focus, each completed micro-action, each reflection period compounds into permanent neural restructuring. Old patterns weaken. New patterns dominate. That is how self-control is built. That is how habits are rewired. That is how discipline becomes automatic. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. You have a choice. Commit to it. Apply it without fail. Now, examine your existing habits. Identify which are productive. Identify which are neutral. Identify which are destructive. Measure them. Evaluate them. Replace the destructive with constructive. Replace the neutral with deliberate. Focus your energy where impact is measurable. This is not optional. This is mandatory. That is the principle. Disciplined evaluation governs habit formation. You have a choice. Execute it. Finally, integrate these principles into long-term practice. Awareness, micro-adjustments, rituals, resistance management, accountability, and repetition form a complete system. Each component reinforces the others. Each day strengthens the framework. Each week compounds the neural effect. Discipline becomes automatic. Focus becomes habitual. Productivity becomes standard. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. That is the rule. That is the system. That is the principle. You have a choice. Follow it. Apply it. Enforce it. Next, you will learn how to cut the noise and focus. You will see how distraction erodes the systems you have built. You will learn how to protect attention, prioritize action, and maintain momentum. You have a choice. Apply the principles of habit formation. Strengthen self-control. Rewire your mind. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. Small daily wins compound. That is your path forward. Chapter 5. Cut the noise and focus. Distraction is the enemy of progress. It is silent. It is constant. It is pervasive. The world is designed to pull your attention in every direction. Notifications, messages, interruptions, background noise, they all erode your capacity to act. You have a choice. You can surrender your focus, or you can protect it. That is the rule. That is the principle. That is the foundation of discipline. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Repeat it. Internalize it. Let it guide every action. You must train your mind to resist distraction. Resistance is not optional. Resistance is mandatory. Every time you allow interruption, every time you allow distraction, every time you permit mental drift, you surrender control. You surrender energy. You surrender opportunity. That is the cost. You have a choice. Protect your attention. That is the system. First, implement silence. Silence is not empty. Silence is structure. Silence is focus. Dedicate periods in your day where noise is eliminated. No phone, no social media, no music, no chatter, no multitasking, just the task in front of you. Writers isolate themselves. Athletes enter flow states in quiet zones. The principle is universal. Removal of external stimulus allows mental energy to concentrate. You have a choice. Create silence. Enforce it. Protect it. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Next, establish intentional breaks. The mind cannot sustain peak attention without rest. Continuous effort without pause leads to fatigue. Fatigue invites distraction. Fatigue invites procrastination. Fatigue invites error. Schedule breaks deliberately. Short time purposeful. During breaks, step away fully. Do not check notifications. Do not review social media. Step away. Reset. Restore. Then return to work. The system, work in cycles, rest with purpose. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Now, control your environment. Your surroundings shape your mind. Clutter invites distraction. Noise invites interruption. Unprepared spaces invite delay. Remove clutter. Organize tools. Set your environment to serve the work. Remove unnecessary devices. Limit open tabs. Eliminate triggers that steal attention. Control your environment. The system, your space must reinforce focus. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Consider a real-world example. A writer preparing a novel. Each day, they isolate themselves. Silence dominates the room. Phone is off. Notifications disabled. Breaks are scheduled. Work sessions are timed. The result, flow state maintained. Chapters completed. Progress consistent. Another example, an athlete in training. Gym is dedicated. Phone is outside. Music is optional. Focus is on technique, form, and repetition. Performance improves rapidly. Attention becomes habitual. Momentum compounds. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. The first step in practical implementation is to audit distraction. Identify sources in your day. Social media, email, chats, colleagues, environmental noise. Each source is a potential derailment. List them. Recognize them. Map when they appear. That is observation. That is discipline. That is the foundation. You have a choice. Identify. Record. Correct. Next, apply control measures. Silence blocks. Timed sessions. Workspace optimization. Do not multitask. Do not allow interruptions. Set explicit rules. No phone for the next 90 minutes. No social media until all priorities are completed. Do not answer emails while in work session. These rules are not suggestions. They're systems. You have a choice. Enforce them. Maintain them. Repeat them. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Now, train your mind to resist internal distraction. External control is insufficient if internal chatter persists. Thoughts wander. Doubts arise. Urges to check messages occur. Interrupt them. Return attention to the task. Name the thought. Acknowledge it. Redirect. Microactions reinforce mental strength. Repetition builds habit. Mental focus becomes default. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Introduce the ritual of pre-focus preparation. Before any work session, perform the following. Clear the desk. Remove all items not required for the task. Prepare the tools. Have everything you need at hand. Set the timer. Decide the session length and commit to it fully. Take a deep breath. Center your mind. Establish intent. Begin immediately. Start with the most critical task. This preparation removes friction. It signals the brain that distraction is prohibited. It signals the mind that attention is the priority. It conditions focus as a habit. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Next, evaluate results. After each session, reflect. Was attention maintained? Were interruptions avoided? Did momentum build? Document outcomes. Adjust routines. Correct deviations. Strengthen the system. Habits compound. Success compounds. Mental energy is protected. Focus becomes automatic. You have a choice. Measure it. Adjust it. Apply it. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Avoid rationalizing distraction. You may tell yourself, I will check it later. I can multitask. It is harmless. These are lies. Each allowance erodes control. Each compromise weakens habit. Each justification prolongs self-sabotage. Recognize it. Reject it. Replace it with deliberate action. Maintain the system. Protect attention. Enforce discipline. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Finally, integrate these practices into daily structure. Schedule silence periods. Schedule focused work blocks. Schedule breaks. Control environment. Monitor internal attention. Reinforce habit. Review outcomes. Correct daily. Momentum grows. Control strengthens. Discipline becomes default. The mind obeys structure. Habits become automatic. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Small actions compound into mastery. Next, you will learn how to own your decisions and own your life. You will see how deliberate choice replaces hesitation, how responsibility reinforces discipline, and how control over action leads to consistent achievement. You have a choice. Apply the principles of focus. Protect attention. Enforce systems. Strengthen habit. Focus is power. Focus is freedom. Focus is control. Chapter 6. Own your decisions. on your life. Every decision matters. Every choice you make shapes your trajectory. You may think small actions are insignificant. They are not. Repeated small choices compound in a habit. Habits compound into outcomes. Outcomes compound into the life you experience. Self-sabotage often begins in decisions that are unexamined, unintentional, or defaulted. You have a choice. You can allow your mind to decide for you, or you could decide deliberately. That is the principle. That is the system. That is control. Decisions are not neutral. Each carries weight. Each produces consequence. When you delay, defer, or delegate choice, you surrender control. Hesitation becomes a habit. Avoidance becomes a pattern. Each default choice reinforces self-sabotage. That is the truth. Recognition is the first step. Awareness of consequence is mandatory. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Repeat it. Internalize it. Apply it. Start by tracking choices. Record every decision, large and small, for 1 week. The choice to answer an email immediately. The choice to postpone a task. The choice to say yes or no. Document each. Then analyze. What were the immediate results? What were the delayed effects? What were the hidden consequences? Observation alone reveals patterns that were invisible before. Observation alone creates awareness that interrupts unconscious self-sabotage. That is the system. That is the rule. You have a choice. Track it. Analyze it. Correct it. Next, classify decisions by type. Decisions fall into categories: productive, neutral, destructive. Productive decisions move you toward your goals. Neutral decisions maintain status quo. Destructive decisions reinforce self-sabotage. Recognize the category of each choice. Examine the patterns. Are destructive choices repeated at certain times of day? Are they triggered by specific emotions or circumstances? Classification allows intervention. Classification allows control. You have a choice. Recognize. Categorize. Correct. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Consider a real-world example. A mid-level manager, highly competent, yet repeatedly passed over for leadership opportunities. Why? Decisions were deferred, delegated, defaulted. The manager failed to claim responsibility for projects. Missed opportunities accumulated. Patterns repeated. Recognition came too late. Awareness alone could have prevented repeated self-sabotage. Awareness combined with deliberate decision-making changes outcomes. That is the principle. You have a choice. Act intentionally. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Next, understand the long-term impact of choices. Every action produces a chain reaction. Small decisions, checking a message, delaying a task, avoiding confrontation, compound over weeks, months, years. Opportunities are lost. Trust erodes. Confidence diminishes. The cost is silent but measurable. The mind may ignore it, but outcomes record it. Long-term analysis is mandatory. Map choices to results. Measure impact. Recognize patterns. This is the system. Track, measure, correct, repeat. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Now, implement deliberate decision protocols. When a choice arises, pause. Evaluate. Assess consequences. Consider alternatives. Measure alignment with goals. Avoid default responses. Avoid reactive impulses. Choose based on intent. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Micro-decisions strengthen neural pathways. Neural pathways strengthen discipline. Discipline reinforces control. Control produces consistent outcomes. You have a choice. Apply it now. Next, guard against emotional hijacking. Decisions made in fear, anger, or frustration are often self-sabotaging. Emotional responses override rational judgment. They reinforce patterns of avoidance, procrastination, and distraction. Recognize emotions as triggers. Pause. Reflect. Decide deliberately. Create micro-habits to delay reactive choices. Wait 5 minutes. Reconsider. Evaluate. Then decide with clarity. Emotional discipline is mandatory. That is the system. That is the rule. You have a choice. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Introduce accountability. Review choices daily. Reflect on outcomes. Assess whether decisions aligned with goals. Identify misaligned choices. Correct proactively. This creates a feedback loop. Repetition of assessment strengthens decision-making muscles. Repetition ensures self-sabotage is interrupted before it compounds. That is the system. Decide, observe, reflect, correct, repeat. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Now, implement micro-decision exercises. Each morning, identify 3 key decisions you will face that day. Plan responses in advance. Set boundaries for default behaviors. Limit impulsive reactions. Document outcomes. Reflect in the evening. Reinforce lessons learned. Each day, neural pathways are strengthened. Habits align with intent. Self-sabotage diminishes. You have a choice. Apply it. Enforce it. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Next, remove decision fatigue. Simplify low-impact choices. Standardize routines. Reduce unnecessary options. Meal prep, clothing, scheduling. Handle once, decide once. Save cognitive energy for high-impact decisions. Decision energy is finite. Protect it. Conserve it. Deploy it where results are measurable. That is the principle. That is the system. You have a choice. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Avoid rationalizations. I'll figure out later. It doesn't matter. It's insignificant. Every rationalization weakens the habit of deliberate decision-making. Every ignored choice reinforces self-sabotage. Confront rationalization immediately. Replace it with structured action. Record, classify, reflect, correct. That is discipline. That is control. That is the system. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Finally, convert deliberate decision-making into a daily system. Record every choice, small, large, immediate, delayed. Observe patterns. Categorize by impact, productive, neutral, destructive. Identify triggers. Pre-plan responses for high-impact decisions. Define intent before acting. Reflect daily. Assess alignment with goals. Correct missteps. Reinforce success. Conserve energy. Standardize low-impact choices. Preserve cognitive resources. This is the framework. This is the discipline. This is the system. Self-sabotage begins in indecision. Control begins in awareness. Freedom begins in choice. You do not need approval. You do not need permission. You have authority over your actions. You have authority over your life. You have the system. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Next, you will learn how to stop waiting for motivation. You will see how discipline, not desire, sustains action. You will learn how to build momentum through consistent, structured behaviors. You have a choice. Apply deliberate decision-making. Track, analyze, correct, repeat. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. Decide deliberately. That is your path forward. Chapter 7. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It is fleeting. It appears in bursts and disappears without notice. You may feel inspired one morning and exhausted the next. You may wake with energy and passion and find it gone by midday. This is normal. It is expected. Motivation alone does not produce results. Reliance on it is self-sabotage. You have a choice. You can wait for fleeting desire, or you can build systems that enforce action. That is the principle. That is the system. That is control. Discipline is different. Discipline does not depend on feeling. Discipline does not fluctuate with mood. Discipline is a structured process. Discipline is a repeated choice. Discipline enforces execution even when motivation is absent. That is the truth. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Repeat it. Internalize it. Let it govern your actions. You have a choice. Apply it. Make discipline habitual. Consider real-world examples. Professionals, athletes, and creators who excel do not wait for motivation. They rely on consistent systems. A writer may not feel like writing, but does so daily. A runner may not feel inspired, but follows a strict schedule. A CEO may not feel enthusiastic, but executes key tasks daily. Their success is not a result of desire. Their success is a result of discipline. They execute. They repeat. They maintain momentum. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. The first step is to recognize your reliance on motivation. Identify moments when you delay action, waiting to feel ready. Document them. Track how often execution is postponed due to lack of inspiration. Each postponement is a micro-sabotage. Each delay compounds over time. Recognition alone interrupts the pattern. Observation precedes correction. You have a choice. Recognize it. Track it. Correct it. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Next, implement a system of fixed routines. Habits reduce dependence on motivation. They create automatic action. Design a daily structure where tasks occur regardless of mood. Morning routines, work sessions, exercise blocks, focused writing periods. Each repetition strengthens neural pathways. Each repetition enforces execution. Each repetition reduces reliance on fleeting energy. That is the system. Structure replaces desire with action. You have a choice. Follow it. Repeat it. Internalize it. Now, break work into manageable segments. Discipline is strengthened when tasks are microstructured. Large projects overwhelm and invite procrastination. Motivation fades when scale seems impossible. Divide into measurable steps. Each small action reinforces consistency. Each small completion reinforces momentum. Small wins compound. Momentum sustains itself. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. You have a choice. Act consistently. Act deliberately. Act now. Next, track progress with measurable outcomes. Do not rely on feelings of accomplishment. Do not wait for external validation. Measure results objectively. Track completion, outputs, and improvements. Review daily. Reflect weekly. Adjust systems as needed. Systems outperform desire. Systems enforce consistency. Systems replace the variability of motivation with the reliability of structure. That is the principle. That is the framework. You have a choice. Implement it. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Consider another real-world example. A professional in sales sets daily quotas. Some days, energy is high. Other days, energy is low. Success is maintained regardless because the system is enforced. Execution is not dependent on how one feels. Discipline ensures results. Motivation is irrelevant. That is the lesson. That is the principle. You have a choice. Build systems that do not require inspiration. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Next, address emotional resistance. You will feel unwillingness. You will feel fatigue. You will feel hesitation. These are natural. They are not barriers. They are signals. Recognize them. Do not negotiate. Do not justify. Proceed despite them. Action reinforces discipline. Repetition solidifies habit. Momentum compounds. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. You have a choice. Respond deliberately. Respond consistently. Respond immediately. Now implement a daily reinforcement ritual. Start each day with priority execution. Identify the most critical task and act immediately, regardless of feeling. Use timed blocks. Work in concentrated periods to reduce reliance on fluctuating energy. Record each completion. Measure tangible progress, not satisfaction. Review daily. Reflect on consistency, not inspiration. Correct missteps. Repeat micro-successes. This system reinforces execution. It trains the mind. It rewires habit loops. Motivation is no longer necessary. Action becomes default. Habit sustains progress. Discipline is strengthened. Momentum compounds. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Avoid rationalizations that depend on motivation. I'll wait until I feel like it. I'm not in the right mood. I'll start tomorrow when I have more energy. Each rationalization reinforces self-sabotage. Each delay erodes opportunity. Each reliance on desire diminishes control. Recognize it. Reject it. Replace with deliberate, structured action. That is the system. That is the rule. You have a choice. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Finally, convert these lessons into an actionable rule set. Create fixed daily routines. Enforce tasks regardless of mood. Divide large projects into micro-actions. Reduce overwhelm. Ensure execution. Measure progress objectively. Track outputs, not inspiration. Reflect and correct daily. Reinforce consistency. Reinforce discipline. Respond immediately to resistance. Act despite hesitation or fatigue. This is the framework. This is the discipline. This is the system. Motivation is optional. Discipline is mandatory. Reliance on desire ensures inconsistency. Systems enforce action. Habits compound success. Control returns. You have a choice. Act deliberately. Act consistently. Act immediately. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Next, you will learn how to replace fear with action. You will see how hesitation limits potential, how courage is built through repeated micro-actions, and how fear can be converted into measurable progress. You have a choice. Apply the principles of disciplined execution. Systems over inspiration. Habits over desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. Discipline beats desire. That is your path forward. Chapter 8. Replace fear with action. Fear is silent. Fear is subtle. It does not announce itself, yet it governs behavior more than any external force. Hesitation, procrastination, avoidance, self-sabotage all begin with fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of discomfort. Recognize it. Do not deny it. Fear is not your enemy. Inaction is your enemy. Fear signals opportunity for action. You have a choice. You can allow fear to control you, or you can act despite it. That is the principle. That is the system. That is control. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Repeat it. Internalize it. Let it govern your behavior. Courage is not a feeling. Courage is a practice. Courage is built through repeated micro-actions. Small steps taken consistently weaken fear. Hesitation diminishes. Control returns. That is the rule. That is the process. You have a choice. Act deliberately. Act immediately. Act repeatedly. Start by identifying the areas where fear governs your choices. Professional risk, personal confrontation, creative exposure, social vulnerability, financial decision-making. List each instance. Observe your responses. Track when fear causes delay, avoidance, or rationalization. Awareness is the first step. Observation alone weakens the unconscious grip of fear. Recognition is mandatory. You have a choice. Track it. Document it. Correct it. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Next, break fear into micro-actions. Large tasks intimidate. Large risks paralyze. Fear magnifies scale. Combat this by dividing intimidating challenges into small, manageable steps. Each micro-action builds momentum. Each step reinforces capability. Each completion diminishes fear. The system, incremental exposure, transforms fear into action. You have a choice. Start small. Execute deliberately. Build momentum. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Consider a real-world example. A junior executive fears presenting to senior leadership. Each attempt at avoidance reinforces self-doubt. Solution: break the task into micro-actions. Prepare slides. Rehearse alone. Present to a colleague. Adjust feedback. Repeat in increasing order of exposure. Within weeks, fear is managed. Confidence emerges. The pattern generalizes. Courage is built. Action transforms hesitation into execution. That is the principle. You have a choice. Apply it deliberately. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Now, pair action with reflection. After each micro-action, evaluate results. Did fear decrease? Did competence increase? Did hesitation diminish? Document progress. Celebrate micro-successes without indulgence. Reinforce the behavior. Reflection strengthens learning. Reflection reinforces habit. Reflection converts repeated action into enduring courage. You have a choice. Observe it. Measure it. Correct it. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Next, establish a daily courage ritual. Each day, select one fear-driven task and break it into micro-actions. Execute at least one. Track completion. Repeat consistently. Gradually expand the scope. Courage compounds. Hesitation diminishes. Control becomes habitual. Fear is not eliminated immediately. It is reduced incrementally. Small, deliberate, repeated action overcomes inertia. That is the system. That is the discipline. You have a choice. Execute daily. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Address emotional resistance. Fear is uncomfortable. Anxiety is expected. Hesitation will arise. The mind resists exposure. That is natural. That is expected. Do not negotiate with it. Do not rationalize. Do not delay. Confront it directly with action. Each micro-action rewires neural circuits. Each repetition weakens the fear response. Momentum compounds. Courage becomes habitual. You have a choice. Act consistently. Act deliberately. Act immediately. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Next, implement accountability. Share progress with a trusted peer or mentor. Document daily exposure. Review completed micro-actions. Adjust strategy based on observation. Accountability reinforces habit. It strengthens discipline. It reduces rationalization. Fear diminishes under observation and action. That is the system. Observe, act, reflect, adjust, repeat. You have a choice. Apply it. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Avoid rationalizations that justify avoidance. I'm not ready. It is too big. I will wait until later. These statements are fear in disguise. Recognize them immediately. Replace them with actionable micro steps. Begin now. Incrementally expand scope. Document results. Reinforce progress. Discipline overcomes instinct. Structure overcomes hesitation. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Finally, convert these insights into an actionable framework. Identify fear triggers. Document situations where hesitation or avoidance occurs. Break tasks into micro-actions. Take the smallest possible steps toward execution. Execute daily. Select one fear-driven task and perform a micro-action every day. Reflect on outcomes. Measure progress. Reduce hesitation. Reinforce courage. Increase exposure gradually. Expand challenges while maintaining successful completion. Document and share. Accountability reinforces habit and strengthens execution. This is the framework. This is the discipline. This is the system. Fear is natural. Fear is expected. Fear is not failure. Inaction is failure. Hesitation is self-sabotage. Momentum builds only through action. Courage is built through repetition. Repetition creates habit. Habit creates control. You have a choice. Act deliberately. Act consistently. Act immediately. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Next, you will learn how to leverage stress as a tool rather than an obstacle. You will see how controlled exposure to discomfort accelerates growth, strengthens discipline, and reinforces all systems built to this point. You have a choice. Apply micro-action consistently. Convert fear into progress. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. Action creates courage. That is your path forward. Chapter 9. Build unstoppable habits. Discipline is not built in bursts. Discipline is built in repetition. Habits are the vehicle. Habits carry action forward even when motivation fails. Habits operate silently, consistently, and relentlessly. Self-sabotage occurs when habits are weak, fragmented, or dependent on fleeting desire. You have a choice. You can rely on willpower alone, or you can design unstoppable habits that enforce results automatically. That is the principle. That is the system. That is control. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Repeat it. Internalize it. Let govern every decision, every action, every moment. Habits are not optional. Habits determine output. Habits determine momentum. Habits compound success. You have a choice. Build them deliberately. Strengthen them consistently. Protect them daily. Start with habit stacking. Link productive actions to existing routines. Small habits are easier to maintain when attached to established behaviors. For example, after brushing your teeth, meditate for 2 minutes. After making coffee, review your top 3 tasks for the day. After checking your email, plan the first actionable step on your primary project. Habit stacking leverages existing neural pathways to reinforce new actions. Momentum compounds. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Consider a real-world example. A CEO struggling with inconsistent mornings. Days began reactive, checking messages, responding to interruptions, losing focus. They restructured the morning through habit stacking. Wake, hydrate, meditate, review priorities, exercise, right key objectives. Each action followed the previous automatically. No decision fatigue. No reliance on motivation. Execution became default. Energy increased. Focus sharpened. Momentum built. Results multiplied. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Next, address environmental design. The space around you reinforces habits. Clutter, distractions, and accessibility of unproductive tools create friction. Remove them. Arrange the environment to make desired actions obvious and easy. Place workout gear where you will see it. Keep journals, planners, and project materials ready and visible. Remove phones or other devices that prompt distraction. Control your environment. It is not optional. It is structural. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Now combine habit stacking with environmental cues. Link micro actions to visible triggers. Drink water before meditation. Place running shoes by the door as a reminder to exercise. Keep notebooks and pens on the desk to initiate planning immediately. External cues reduce reliance on memory or willpower. They automate action. Momentum compounds. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Consider the psychological principle. Habits operate below conscious effort. The brain seeks efficiency. Repetition builds pathways. Automation reduces resistance. Once habits are established, self-control becomes secondary. You no longer negotiate execution. Action occurs by default. Momentum compounds. Results follow. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Introduce the rule of micro-habits. Start small. Start measurable. Do not overcommit. Large, overwhelming routines fail because they require willpower. Small, incremental actions succeed because they reinforce pathways. Micro-habits build reliability. Micro-habits build consistency. Micro-habits compound into unstoppable behavior. You have a choice. Start small. Reinforce daily. Stack intelligently. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Next, implement reflection and adjustment. Habits are not static. Track progress. Identify weak points. Adjust sequencing. Optimize cues. Remove friction points. Strengthen automation. Each adjustment compounds effectiveness. Habits are systems, not random behaviors. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Avoid rationalizations. I'll start tomorrow. It's too much to change. I'll wait until I feel ready. These statements sabotage momentum. Habits are not dependent on feeling. Habits are dependent on structure, repetition, and environment. Execute despite hesitation. Execute despite resistance. Execute despite imperfection. That is the system. That is discipline. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Now, implement a daily framework for habit reinforcement. Identify core habits. Select actions that produce the most leverage in your day. Stack micro-habits. Attach new actions to existing routines. Design environment. Reduce friction, eliminate distractions, and make cues obvious. Track and reflect. Review consistency and impact daily. Adjust sequencing as needed. Scale gradually. Expand duration, complexity, or intensity over time without breaking consistency. This framework ensures habits compound over weeks, months, and years. Each repeated action strengthens neural pathways. Each automated behavior reduces reliance on willpower. Each completed habit reinforces confidence. Momentum becomes unstoppable. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Consider the long-term impact. CEOs, athletes, writers, and innovators leverage this principle. Their mornings, their workflows, their decision-making routines are optimized through habit design. They execute consistently. They do not rely on bursts of motivation. They do not negotiate with impulse. They remove friction. They stack habits. They enforce structure. They dominate output. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Finally, convert these principles into a lifetime system. Audit your current habits. Note productive, neutral, and destructive routines. Stack strategically. Attach new actions to existing behaviors. Control your environment. Eliminate triggers for distraction and friction for action. Micro actions daily. Small steps compound into unstoppable routines. Reflect and optimize. Track, adjust, reinforce. Consistency compounds results. This is the discipline. This is the structure. This is the system. Habits remove reliance on willpower. Habits create automatic momentum. Habits enforce execution. Habits compound results. You have a choice. Build them. Protect them. Strengthen them. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Next, you will learn how to complete the system by reinforcing attention, focus, and long-term results. You will see how integrated habits, micro-actions, courage, and disciplined decision-making converge into unstoppable execution. You have a choice. Apply this system consistently. Build momentum. Enforce discipline. Habits win. Habits win. Habits win. Every single day. Chapter 10. Never return to old patterns. Old patterns are comfortable, familiar, predictable, but they're destructive. Self-sabotage thrives in repetition. Small compromises, ignored habits, and deferred actions accumulate over time. Every old pattern left unexamined will eventually reassert itself. You have a choice. You can allow old patterns to reclaim control, or you can maintain vigilance and enforce new structures. That is the principle. That is the system. That is control. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Repeat it. Internalize it. Let it govern every decision. Let it govern every moment. Old patterns may whisper. They may tempt. They may disguise themselves as convenience, comfort, or tradition. Recognize the voice of habit. Recognize the signals. Recognize the risk. Then act deliberately. Replace the impulse with structured action. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Start with accountability systems. External oversight reinforces internal discipline. Assign trusted peers, mentors, or colleagues to monitor progress. Share goals and systems openly. Schedule regular reviews. Each report, each review, each reflection creates pressure to maintain action. Accountability makes deviation costly. Deviations become observable. Correction becomes immediate. This is not optional. It is structural. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Next, implement reflective journaling. Daily reflection consolidates learning. Record actions taken, habits reinforced, micro-decisions executed, and challenges encountered. Document deviations and analyze causes. Identify early signs of drift. Recognition allows intervention before regression becomes habit. Reflection converts observation into correction. Reflection converts experience into lasting change. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Now, reinforce with positive feedback loops. Reward consistency. Reinforce successful habits. Celebrate micro-completions without indulgence. Each reinforcement strengthens neural pathways associated with disciplined action. Momentum compounds. Motivation becomes secondary. Habits become automatic. Old patterns weaken. Structure dominates. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Consider a real-world example. A professional repeatedly delayed high-impact tasks. Promotion was lost. Recognition eroded. The pattern repeated. The solution: daily journaling, accountability check-ins, and micro-action reinforcement. Within weeks, procrastination diminished. Execution became automatic. Confidence returned. Momentum compounded. Results stabilized. Old patterns were replaced permanently. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Next, design triggers for vigilance. Recognize high-risk situations where old patterns emerge. Time of day, environment, emotional state, social pressure. Prepare predefined responses for each trigger. Action must be automatic. No debate. No rationalization. Execute the system as designed. This reduces relapse. It protects momentum. It enforces discipline. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Introduce the rule of continuous monitoring. Old patterns resurface gradually. Vigilance must be consistent. Weekly review of goals, habits, and outcomes is mandatory. Monthly reflection on progress and systems is mandatory. Daily journaling reinforces micro-action. Observation prevents regression. Correction prevents sabotage. That is the system. That is the discipline. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Now, create redundancy in your systems. Combine habit stacking, environmental control, micro-actions, and accountability. Multiple layers prevent old patterns from reasserting control. One layer may fail. Another layer compensates. Momentum is maintained. Discipline is reinforced. Control is protected. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Avoid rationalization that permits regression. I'll start again tomorrow. One slip won't matter. It's a small compromise. These statements are disguised self-sabotage. Recognize them. Interrupt them. Replace with immediate, deliberate action. Enforce correction. Reinforce structure. Momentum compounds. Old patterns weaken. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Next, implement a daily system to prevent relapse. Reflect. Journal all micro-actions, deviations, and decisions. Identify drift early. Review weekly accountability check-ins. Evaluate consistency and outcomes. Reinforce. Reward progress without indulgence. Strengthen neural pathways of disciplined behavior. Predefine triggers. Identify moments where old habits resurface. Plan micro-actions to counteract them. Layer systems. Combine routines, environmental controls, habit stacking, and accountability for redundancy. This is the framework. This is the discipline. This is the system. Old patterns are persistent, but not invincible. They can be replaced. They can be controlled. They can be eradicated when structure, repetition, and vigilance are maintained. You have authority over your habits. You have authority over your behavior. You have authority over your life. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Consider long-term perspective. Self-sabotage is often slow and imperceptible. Regression begins with small compromises. Vigilance prevents this. Daily discipline, structured reflection, and reinforced habits compound into permanent change. Momentum is maintained. Execution becomes automatic. Results become predictable. Old patterns are replaced permanently. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Finally, convert these insights into a lifetime system. Daily journaling. Track actions, micro decisions, habits, and deviations. Accountability loops. Trusted oversight ensures adherence to discipline. Environmental reinforcement. Remove triggers for old habits. Reinforce desired actions. Layered micro-actions create redundancy in behavior, preventing regression. Ongoing reflection. Weekly and monthly reviews to detect drift and enforce correction. This is the final rule. This is the ultimate system. Apply it consistently. Apply it without debate. Apply it without delay. Self-sabotage is defeated only through relentless structure and vigilance. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. If you have followed every chapter, implemented every system, reinforced every habit, and executed every micro-action, you are no longer at the mercy of old patterns. You are in control. You're disciplined. You are unstoppable. You have choice. You have momentum. You have authority over your life. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return. Repeat it. Internalize it. Live it. Every day, reinforce your systems. Protect your habits. Monitor your choices. Ensure execution. Momentum compounds. Self-sabotage is no longer an option. You have the framework. You have the discipline. You have the system. If you found this audiobook valuable, subscribe to the channel now to continue receiving authoritative, system-driven content that trains the mind, builds discipline, and eliminates self-sabotage. Apply these principles daily. Protect your focus. Enforce your habits. You will not return. You will not return. You will not return.